Hello and welcome to Sunrise Cardcast, your one-stop podcast shop for all things hockey cards. My name is Eric Andrews, also known in the hobby as Hammerhawks, and I'm joined by my co-host and fellow hobbyist Aaron Goldstein, better known throughout the hobby as Crease Collector. So this episode is going to heavily focus on two new products from Upper Deck, with those being 2020-21 SP Authentic and 2021-22 Upper Deck Series 2. But before getting into those, I wanted to show off a couple of notable cards I've gotten in the mail recently, just to kind of ease into the episode a little bit. So we have kind of two different categories that these cards fall into. One being a card for my 0304 Master Collection, and the other one kind of just being like more so kind of like a random card, I guess, so to speak. It's not for a set, it's not a player I collect, anything like that, just a random card that I saw and picked up. So I'm going to start with the 0304 one, just because I think the second one is a little bit more on the unique side. So starting with the 0304 one, this is one I've been hoping to pick up for a while, obviously, for the project, but it's just a product that I've always really enjoyed, even going back all the way to 0304 when it came out. Just a cooler product from back in the day that I feel really kind of speaks to that era of cards. And, obviously with this player being on the card, it's obviously one of the nicer cards in the set for sure. So I had kind of looked at a few of these over the last couple of years, but it just never worked out, or the price didn't make sense, or whatever it might be. Actually, one of those is this exact card that I got. A guy had it and posted about it that it was available. And I want to say he was asking like $350 for the card or something like that, like something that was pretty high, for what it is. And even that was above like, eBay sales and what they were available for on Check Out My Card and stuff like that. The price was just too high, and he wasn't really actively looking to move it. He was just open to moving it. So if he wasn't getting his price, he was just going to hang on to it, which is fine. So, kind of just said, okay, whatever, I'll just get one down the road. Well, then one day on Facebook, probably, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I don't even remember how it came about, but somehow I think someone had been making a post looking for cards of this player. And this guy comments and said, "Oh, I have this card. This is the price I want for it," and kind of just left it at that. And I saw, the card, saw the price, and I was like, that's a pretty good price. Like if the original poster doesn't want the card, I'm going to get it. So I said that and messaged the guy and said, hey, if that guy doesn't want it, I'll take it. So the original guy was like, yep, like it's all yours, go ahead. So we worked out the deal. And you remember I said earlier, what, I don't remember how long ago this was, maybe like a year ago or something like that, when he was asking $350 for the card. Well, I got this card a couple weeks ago for $100. So obviously that's a pretty severe drop off in price from what he was asking originally, to the point where I thought that was a pretty good price. And actually looking at the sales online, it might actually be a touch high, but still, I felt that was a fair price for the card. And a kind of a cool little added tidbit about the card, this guy actually pulled this card himself back in 2004. So he's the original owner. It's never left his collection at all. So kind of just cool in that regard. So enough lead in. I will show off the card now. Aaron doesn't know what this one is. He just knew that I had a big 0304 card coming. So I'm sure he will enjoy this one, as it is from 2003-04 Pacific Luxury Suite. It is an auto puck rookie card, numbered out of 299, of Marc-Andre Fleury.
Dang, that brings me back. I've never owned one of those, but just like seeing those type of cards again are really, really cool. I mean, obviously, if you can get a card like that of Fleury, that's awesome. I mean, classic rookie photo there. So that is really sweet and seriously like underrated for sure. Nice pickup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as far as Pacific goes, Luxury Suite was definitely their high-end product, pretty much without a doubt, I would say. That's where they put all of their best memorabilia and, had some really nice patches and, all the big names, all that. So that was really like their big, over the top product. So getting the Fleury from that product is obviously, a pretty significant one for the project. Not that it's the most expensive. I mean, it's a far cry from his Young Gun or his Future Watch Auto or his Premier RPA or his Ice Out of 99. Those are his really, pricey cards. But, still just given the fact that this was their highest end product, it's still very much a significant card in its own right, in my opinion. So definitely excited to cross that one off the list, and especially kind of cool having a nice little backstory like that. That I had a chance at the card a while ago, it was overpriced, and then got it for a pretty good price now. So yeah, that's the first card, the 0304 one. And then the second one, like I said, this is definitely shifting gears. This is actually a card that we talked about on the show pretty recently, and you guys will know it when you see it. But this is one that when I first learned of the cards, kind of wanted to get one. I wasn't sure I was necessarily going to go super far out of my way to get one. But then when this specific copy of it popped up, it just immediately spoke to me, and I knew it was the right one for me to acquire for my collection. And was able to work out a deal with a hobby friend of mine pretty easily and quickly, and got the deal done. So I will show off the card, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it later on. But like I said, it's a card that we talked about on the show pretty recently, that being from President's Choice Solid Gold, a handwritten word card of Lord Stanley.
Awesome stuff. I mean, we've seen a few of those cards floating around since the release, but obviously to get one is next level stuff. So super innovative idea. We talked about it with Dr. Price himself, obviously, and that is super, super cool. Like definitely really, really unique. So nice looking card too.
Yeah. So obviously the big draw of it for me is that the word on the card is right. And, not only does that just match the theme of the card exceptionally well, but, for those that don't know, I work in public relations. So writing is a pretty big part of what I do for my job on a daily basis. So being able to pick up a card that, had the word right on it for that set, it just immediately spoke to me as that's the one that I needed to have for my collection. So made sure I was able to get that card, because I would have been bummed if I had missed out on it. Paid what I thought was a pretty fair price, and I know the seller was happy with it. So worked out really nicely. And yeah, definitely a very, very cool card. Like I said, we talked about it with Dr. Price, but they really are very nice cards in person. The design is really nice. Just everything about the card is just it has a really quality feel, and just really plays into that kind of like old school historic type of look and feel. So yeah, definitely a very unique card for my collection. Can't say that I have anything really like that, nor can most people for that matter. So definitely excited about that one. So yeah, those are my two more notable pickups of late.
Super, super nice job. I mean, just obviously really unique and obviously really needed. Definitely some big ones. And I know you have a few more to share at some point, but I think we're going to wait on those. So I'm interested to see what those are, but I guess those will have to wait for a couple more weeks here, I guess. But anyway, moving on to a new product, 2020, 2021 SBA. Obviously, everyone is familiar with SBA as of this point, but we're just going to give a quick little rundown in case those who don't know. Yeah, so if you want to go like more in depth with it yourself, you definitely can, but we're just gonna, like I said, just give you a quick rundown here. So a lot of the 2000, 2001 retro content is out there. We have the Spectrum Parallel out of 100, the retro autographs, future watches, future watch autographs, and the retro sign of the times, which are really cool. And people like it or hate it, but we also have the 10-year-old retro future watch autographs. So this year they'll be using the 1011 design, which I really liked. Again, some people don't really like the whole throwback initiative there, but I've always really liked them. The Authentics Moments subset has been renamed to Celebrated Moments. I think either name is fine, so a little name change there is not too bad. I guess one of your favorites, the Sign of the Times Black Parallels, are back. Those were obviously really well received, making their debut in 1920. And they're highlighted by, obviously a black parallel set, but in gold ink for those autographs. So super, super nice. And they also feature inscriptions as well. One of my favorites as well, we have the Sign of the Times decades themes, which go back to the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and the 2010s. So I've always really enjoyed those. I like how they have not only a difference in decade, but I really like how the different designs kind of highlight those different eras of cards. I think that's just super cool. So it's going to be interesting to see, the names on those cards, and obviously what they look like is obviously going to be one of the main draws for sure. The Young Gun Aztec cards are back as Easter eggs. I mean, we still call them Easter eggs, but I mean, you kind of know that some of them are going to be there, but always really nice cards for sure. And of course, like being mainly a rookie card driven product. And as far as the new stuff, we have some top performers, inserts and autographs, true leaders, inserts and autos, upper deck authentic autos, and auto patches, which look really amazing. One detail to mention, kind of minor, but it might be a big deal to other people. I've seen some people point it out, but the font of the serial number on some cards are going to be a little different. I think this might be due to where they source the printing, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, like some people might be rubbed the wrong way on that. But personally, as long as it's numbered correctly, it's all well in my book. It's described as being like sort of like a rounder font. So we just wanted to make note of that. The quality of the cards have been pretty good this year, although there have been some instances, boxes having or lacking 2 autographs and some having more than 2 autographs. So I guess you need to watch out for that. And then Eric, I know you have a couple notable names in the product yourself. So yeah, hopefully you see them pretty quickly.
Yeah, so all 3 of my main guys that I collect are in the product, with that being Jalmerson, Slavin, and Dzingel. Dzingel is in the base set, so he has the most cards. I think he has 8 total in the product. And then I believe Slavin has 3. He has actually an update auto from last year, one of the limited base autos, which is kind of interesting to me given he had a limited auto patch last year. I feel like it's usually you have one or the other, not both. So it's kind of interesting that he had the auto patches last year and now is having the limited update. Kind of just stuck out to me as being a little weird there, but especially because he's always really good about signing his autographs. So kind of just weird there. And then Jalmerson has Sign of the Times and one of the Sign of the Times black cards, with that black one being the one that I'm most interested in out of all those cards because it is inscribed with his nickname being the Hammer. So that'll be a pretty cool card for me to pick up. I will definitely look forward to grabbing at least one of those for my collection. There are 49 of them out there, so shouldn't be too hard to find. But yeah, just with that inscription with his nickname, that'll be a pretty sweet card to have for my collection for sure. Just touching on some of the things you mentioned earlier, I'm typically not a huge fan of just like a ton of retro content. I actually really like the 0001 retro base set and the Spectrum parallels of those. Just for whatever reason, I really liked that design back in the day. I know I have a complete set of the 2000 2001 SPA base set somewhere. I don't know where, but I know I have it, and I know I really liked that design from back in the day. So it's kind of cool seeing that come back. And I don't know, it's just, if you're gonna do a bunch of retro stuff when it looks really nice, it's kind of like, okay, I don't mind that. And that kind of comes in with those Spectrum parallels out of 100. I've seen a couple of those, and those just look phenomenal. They have kind of like a gold background, so to speak, whereas the base ones just kind of have like a silver look. These ones have a gold look and then have gold rainbow foil on them. So those look really, really nice for sure. So if you have a player in that set, I'm sure you will really enjoy getting those cards. This is something new this year. They've done these here and there in the past few years just for kind of the bigger players, but it seems like they're doing it for every player in the Future Watch checklist this year. Is that they have kind of like die cut acetate, super, super short print, unannounced versions of the Future Watch cards. So that's just another thing to keep in mind and be looking out for. I've seen a few of those so far, and those look really sharp. So cool to see that has been expanded across the entire Future Watch checklist. Presumably, just based on some of the names I've seen, it's not just the big names. It's a lot of the lesser quote unquote players as well. So I would take that to mean that it is for everybody on the Future Watch checklist. Just cool to see that done. I think those, are going to be pretty well received, and just a nice way to add some value for those lesser players as well. And then one other thing I just wanted to touch on, the serial number font. It's kind of interesting because it's only on some cards. It's not on the full product. It's not even on full insert sets or subsets. I think the most notable one is on the Future Watch autos. So it kind of seems like they almost printed the Future Watch autos in like separate batches with some of the guys that they knew were going to be in the product. They printed earlier, and those seem to have more of the traditional serial number font. Like Lafreniere, I think, has the quote unquote traditional font, whereas some of the guys that maybe didn't debut until 2021 started, like Kirill Kaprizov, Tim Stutzla, those guys have the larger, quote unquote, rounder font on their cards. So, like Aaron said, I think that is due to, using a different printer. And I don't know if that's because they weren't allowed to use the same font or couldn't use the same font or just didn't use the same font. I don't know what the story is there, but just wanted to point that out because I know a lot of people have been talking about that already. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to add about SPA. It's pretty much what you'd expect for SPA. It's pretty consistent release at this point, very well established, and always one of those products that people look forward to every single year, and this year being no different. So it's been fun seeing what's come out of that so far, and looking forward to picking up some of those cards for my collection. Like I said, the Jalmerson Black Sign of the Times especially, as well as probably one of those Slavin UD Authentic auto patches. That'll be pretty cool as well, just because I think that design looks pretty sharp. So excited for those for sure. And then transitioning to the main part of the episode being 2021-22 Upper Deck Series 2. For those who do not know, obviously it's been out for a little while. It released on June 15th, but we wanted to make sure to give a more thorough look at that product. So here to talk about all things Series 2 is Upper Deck product manager Billy Celio. Billy, thanks so much for joining us today.
No problem, guys. Great to be back.
Awesome. So we'll just kind of jump right in here. Of course, a huge topic of discussion for any flagship series is the Young Guns and the Young Gun checklist that is released right before the product drops. Can you just share a bit about how the checklist for Series 2 was determined, compared to Series 1 and Extended Series, and just kind of walk us through some of the names to keep an eye on?
Well, as a lot of you know, a player has to play in the NHL before they can get a card. And we, have been building products to a certain period. And for Series 1 this last year, we had to build things quite early to the point where it had, holdover rookies in it, which was great because we had Zegras and we had Caulfield, and those were very strong rookies for Series 1. So what you're looking at for Series 2 are a group of guys that, we've been waiting for to skate since the previous year, or guys that are skated this year. So as a Red Wing fan, that some of you guys know, I've been licking my chops for Series 2 because this was going to be your first chance to get the young guns for Lucas Raymond and Maurice Sider. And, those are just a couple of the guys. There's a whole bunch of, really talented guys. Series 2 checklist is very strong, and it's got a lot of rookies that we've kind of been waiting for, I guess you could say, from a standpoint of waiting for them to skate. Like they didn't skate last year, and we thought they would, but we knew they would probably make an opening day roster this year, which was the case for many of the guys. So we're really excited about the young gun checklist for Series 2 this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very deep crop too. I mean, it's not just like Raymond and Sider at the top. I mean, there's a lot of really good names in there. I know Quentin Byfield's in there. That's another really big one.
Oh yeah, Byfield, Perfetti. Those
Mhm.
are a couple big names too.
Yep.
That got drafted very high, and it's like I said, we've just been waiting for them to skate. I think we thought Perfetti was going to skate last year, but ended up not doing it.
Yeah, just a lot of really good players in there for sure. It's not even just like 5 or 10 players deep. I mean, there's probably at least 15 like pretty quality players in that checklist. So definitely an exciting aspect of the product for sure. This one's kind of a little bit more of an oddball type of question related to the young guns. I don't know if you've ever even been asked this before, or if there's any credibility to this, thought. Just something I saw online. Someone was curious if the young gun design was tweaked ever so slightly between Series 1 and Series 2 in relation to the sizing and positioning of the banner on the right side.
It was not tweaked. What I can probably say is they were printed at two different facilities. Series 1 was printed one place, Series 2 was printed someplace else. So there's the potential of going from one vendor to another where there might be some differences in how they lay stuff out or how stuff is cut. Definitely difference in how stuff was cut. I think you guys saw an amazing improvement on Series 2, which we were very happy about. But no, there was no purposeful positioning of anything different from Series 1 to Series 2.
I know a couple people have wondered about that, but that's definitely it's good to hear that stuff confirmed. Just next question here. Onto the awesome black canvas cards. Obviously those were kind of expected for Series 2. How do you feel those cards have been received this time around compared to Series 1, where they were kind of like a mystery?
The black canvas's purpose, and I don't know if I talked with you guys the first time when we talked about Series 1, we're trying to kind of cut back a little bit on jerseys. So this was one of our ways of creating some content because the jersey cards have really just been losing their value. We wanted to kind of pull back, and so we kind of did that with Series 2, also pulling back the jerseys and using the black canvas parallels, which I think it sells for more than $1 jersey card. So I think it's still doing its purpose, which is adding more value to a box as opposed to a jersey card. I know a jersey card feels cool, like you can see it, it's in your hand, but if you look at the secondary market, the jersey cards for some reason just don't get the love that they deserve. And right now we're living in a world where people like parallels and numbered cards and stuff. So we went that route again with Series 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And I think it's a really smart and good move for the products. Like you're saying, I mean, would you rather pull I think you said this when we talked about Series 1, would you rather pull a Dylan Larkin jersey card or a Trevor Zegras Young Gun black canvas card? I mean, you might
Big
love Dylan
difference.
Larkin, but I think even the biggest Red Wings fan is going to take that Zegras rookie parallel any day. So yeah, I definitely like the addition of those and definitely agree with you there. One new insert that has definitely grabbed everyone's attention is the NHL Passages set, which is an acetate and a die cut card that highlights a player's journey through their NHL career, whether that be with just the same team or with the various teams that they've played for. So, what was the inspiration behind those, and how do you feel those cards turned out in the end?
Honestly, there's an old insert. I'm not gonna try to take full credit for this card. There's an old insert that's very similar that Upper Deck had produced years ago. And unfortunately, the insert name legally we couldn't use anymore because either someone used it, we didn't copyright it, and so we kind of had to change the name. But we wanted to use the same kind of technology where we had a PETG back with the rainbow foil on top. And you know, I've got one in my hand right now. Obviously, they can't see it on the on the podcast, but I've got the McDavid right here, and I think it looks really cool. You've got them at different stages of their career. You've got the young McDavid to the bearded McDavid, and then the ones that are really cool too is when they played on multiple teams. Like it just kind of you can see one or two or three different teams on the card. I think those are really cool also. But yeah, they came out great. Our design team with the colors and with the foil and the die cuts, I think they came out really nice, and I'm glad that they've gotten the reception that they have gotten.
Yeah, those are always like super, super nice. One interesting thing with the OPG update cards is that the retro cards have the neon green parallels out of 50, whereas the standalone OPG product had the neon greens for a base design. So what kind of prompted, that switch?
Oh, you had to ask that question. That's called one person makes O-Pee-Chee, one person makes flagship, and unfortunately, the person who made flagship did not communicate well enough with his counterpart and made the neon green the wrong the wrong version. So,
Dang.
I will admit my mistakes when they happen, and I'll be completely. I wish I had a great excuse that I could give people and be like, well, maybe that's what we wanted to do, and maybe that's what I should have said. But the honest truth is, it was miscommunication on my part, and I made the green for the wrong parallel.
Gotcha.
Thanks,
Fair enough.
Aaron, for bringing that up. Appreciate it. Can you
Now
fix
I
that
feel
part?
bad.
Can you fix that in editing? Like
I
remove the question
mean, we could,
altogether? I'm just
hey,
joking. I'm
yeah,
just joking.
we can do that.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm just messing with you guys.
Well, we appreciate the honesty. Obviously, we didn't know the backstory, so we were just curious, but obviously appreciate the honesty, and I'm sure people will appreciate hearing the backstory too. One other fun addition for the product that I know, at least I think is cool, and I know other people have really enjoyed are the 2005-06 Rookie Threads retro memorabilia cards. What can you tell us about the backstory behind those ones?
Well, we did the anniversary ones in the first series, and I wanted to kind of keep that tradition going for series two because I thought those were well received. And let me rephrase it. I knew they'd be well received, and those 05-06 rookie threads are pretty iconic in themselves. And so I thought, well, let's do an icon. And we always have the rookie jerseys in Series 2. So I wanted to find an old iconic jersey design that we could use in the same way that we used them in Series 1. I wanted to make them rare. As I said, we're trying to get value out of these jersey cards. So if I'm going to do something like this, I don't want to make, thousands and thousands of them. I want to make them rare enough that when someone gets it, it's cool and it's special to them.
I mean, that's really fair. I kind of like that you kind of mentioned if I'm going to do some jersey cards, I want to make, something special with them. So I think you definitely did on that one. Just another card that really is, it grabs people's attention, especially with a flagship release like this, is the Tribute Acetate Young Guns. What could you tell us about those, about those players in that crop this time around? Because I know they are obviously quite limited.
Yeah, we never like to tell you how many of those there are, and I think that adds value to those cards, to be honest with you. So it's just something different. It was a great idea that someone gave us a while back when we just kind of brainstorm with different people, and we've just kind of kept it going. But I know that people love them, and we'll continue with them because they're definitely big hits, especially with how rare they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely fun seeing which players are included. I know that this year there's guys like Danny Heatley and Jonathan Quick and some fun names from over the years included this time around. So those are always really fun to see, and bringing back all of those old Young Gun designs too is pretty fun. This one is shifting away from 21-22, but I've heard these rumors that 2022-23 Upper Deck Series 2 is going to be pretty legendary. Can you confirm or deny those reports?
That's probably because I just told you that about 10 minutes ago. But there's been talk about where certain people will land and how we built Series 1 this year and potentially how we're going to build Series 1 again next year. And if that's the case, you guys can do the math and kind of figure out the potential of who would be in Series 2. And that being the case, we decided to kind of spice up Series 2 a little bit next year. There's going to be a lot more numbered stuff, a lot more like cool inserts involved in it. I'm not even sure if I'd have to check, but there might not even be. We might switch up the OPG content also. So there's a lot of potential stuff that will be happening in Series 2 and in Series 1 next year. We've already built, and Series 1 is on the way. Like, we want to get Series 1 out, hopefully in time for the Fall Expo. That definitely is our goal. We kind of know now with some of our new vendors how long it takes to print stuff, how long it takes to ship stuff, because when you're going overseas or going across the country, it takes time. So we're equating that into the timing of the release date. And I think we've had to make some sacrifices because of it in checklists, but I think people will be happy to get a product out for the new season out as quick as we can. And so we're definitely looking forward to Series 1, and then, as I said, Series 2 will be pretty big also. I think I said I honestly believe it's the best flagship product I've built.
That'll be very exciting to see for sure. This is another question I just thought of as we're literally talking right now, but I know is obviously something very important about this product. That being that this is really the first product that has had, a wider variety of Seattle Kraken cards included. Do you just want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, I know there's been people been begging for Kraken stuff, and as I said, when you're building Series 1 before the season even starts, it's hard to really, and those checklists are required so early in the year. You have to accommodate, and unfortunately we couldn't put Kraken people in there, so we were finally able to put some Kraken in Series 2. One thing, I don't even know if you want to go into it. We've got extended coming out probably in a few months, and there's actually an insert dedicated to every player that was on the the original, like that skated or that was on the bench or whatever for the Kraken. So there's like one of the inserts, instead of like an all-star set, there's a Kraken set of all the inaugural pings. So if you're a big Kraken fan, Extended is going to be the set that you're definitely going to want to look into. And I will say something about Extended also. Last year I really enjoyed the product. I thought it was cool. I thought it was misinterpreted by some people who thought it was just like a Series 3. So what do you do? Do you do the same thing, or do you give the people kind of what they're expecting? And we did a little bit of both, where There's still so many really cool inserts, so many cool old vintage designs, but they're more related to hockey. Like we brought back the old Black Diamond, where it was the Light FX, it's the 20-point card, the 1, 2, 3, and 4 stars, and we brought back a number of other things that are really cool, but they're really more hockey oriented inserts and designs. And then we have a 50 card Young Gun checklist. We put aside a couple Young Guns to strengthen the checklist as opposed to, what we had last year, and that's just a matter of who skated and who didn't. You can't always determine who's going to be on that Young Gun checklist. And then we're adding canvas into extended. So those of you who are worrying where is Cider's canvas Young Gun, there might still be a chance to get one in one of our upper deck products. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised with extended this year.
Awesome. That's exciting to hear. I think that's pretty much all the stuff about 21-22 Series 2 that we had, but I'm sure there are things that we are overlooking. So is there anything else that we should know or that you want to share?
Yeah, another thing I really like that we added to UD2 this year. So we've always had the Program of Excellence cards. And a lot of times it's just always been like the young rookies that played for Team Canada. But some of the really cool cards that came out this year, we've got like an old school Eric Lindros Program of Excellence where he's in his Team Canada, and a Marc-Andre Fleury Program of Excellence where he's in his Team Canada stuff. I thought it was really cool to have some of these vintage Program of Excellence cards in the set of the veterans. I think those came out really nice also. I ripped a case with my coworkers the other day, and it was an enjoyable break. I know a lot of people, for understandable reasons, have been concerned about condition and stuff. Look, you might get a card or two that gets just chopped up in the feeder, like it happens here and there. But I went through my case, and the collation and the edges and the corners were so good. I was very happy with it, and I've been hearing nothing but the same results from a lot of our breakers, a lot of our customers, a lot of our shops. So I'm really happy with how Series 2 turned out this year, and I you can kind of read about it and see it too on the blogs and the forums and all that stuff. So that's probably one of my biggest takeaways, is just how nice everything looks this series. Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.
All
See
right,
ya.
bye.
So then moving into the next segment of the episode, we're hoping to actually have, be able to do this with Billy on the show. Upper Deck was actually kind enough to send us a box of Upper Deck Series 2 to open on the show. And just a quick shout out to Paul in the marketing department. He's kind of taken over in this regard from Chris Carlin. And I've really enjoyed, emailing back and forth with Paul so far, and very much appreciate his willingness to send us a box to open up on the show live for you guys. It was supposed to come on the day that we were recording the review with Billy, so that he would have been able to, see the box break and comment on the cards that we were pulling. But unfortunately, FedEx decided that there was going to be a weather delay, quote unquote, the day that we were recording with Billy. Even though it was 85 degrees Fahrenheit and crystal clear skies here, the package is an hour and a half down the road. And, like I said, they claimed that there were weather delays today, even though that obviously is not true. So, it didn't come until after the fact that we recorded with Billy. So unfortunately, this will just be a solo box break with myself doing it instead of having both Aaron and Billy on to join. So just to give that context, that it is unfortunately just me breaking this box, but just wanted to kind of explain why. And obviously not ideal, but no one here's fault. Obviously, like I said, Paul got it out in time for it to be here, and we thought that we had a good plan for the scheduling with Billy based on his availability and our availability, and just didn't quite work out this time. But still, like I said, definitely appreciate Paul sending us the box and excited to see what we have. Billy gave some pretty good insight about what this product has in it. So I'm excited to give this box a crack and see what we get. So I am going to crack on into it, and here we go. On to the first pack, and we will see how we do. Looks like it's an OPG update. So I haven't seen most of these base cards, so I'll probably go a little bit slower through these just so I can enjoy them and enjoy the break. And I'll point out any notable names within the base as well, just so you guys kind of hear some of the names that are in in the checklist. So we do have a OPG marquee rookie, and I like this one for the Tampa Bay Lightning, but now a member of the Chicago Blackhawks, Boris Kachuk. So that's a cool one for me. And right after the Kachuk, I like this one, my first ever Seattle Kraken card of Jordan Eberle. So cool to see the Kraken jerseys on some cards. Looks really sharp. I really like their uniforms. We've talked about that on the show before, but just the teal and blue kind of pop off the jerseys really nicely. So obviously it looks really sharp on a card for sure. That's really cool. So a couple nice cards there in the first pack. And I will also do my best to keep an eye out for the French parallel. Obviously, those are sometimes a little bit difficult to notice, but hopefully I can find that when it comes about. So on to the second pack. Got Nicholas Aube-Kubel, who dropped the Stanley Cup during the Avalanche celebration on the ice afterward and dented the base. And we've got our first Young Guns, but first we've got another Seattle Kraken card, Jamie Alexiak, and the first Young Gun for the St. Louis Blues, Jake Neighbors. So he's one of those guys that, a lot of people would say he's a quality name. He's not one of the top names necessarily, but a good player nonetheless. So I would say that's, all things considered, a pretty decent one there. And like Billy was saying, the quality of these cards does look pretty good, especially compared to Series 1. Looking at the edges and the corners, they do look pretty good. So that's good to see. So moving on to pack number 3. And I'm not super familiar with all of the Young Gun sequencing or things like that. I know that's something that Upper Deck has worked on and improved in recent years, but there is still a little bit of that. So sometimes you can at least have somewhat of an idea who you'll get, but I'm not sure what group Neighbors tends to be with. So third pack looks like we've got our first canvas card. First nice base card for the Calgary Flames, Andrew Mangiapane. He's a fan favorite of ours here on the show. And our canvas card for the Anaheim Ducks, Cam Fowler. Looks like he's taking a shot from the point. Cool card, cool photo. Of course, that's what the canvas cards are known for, is the cool photography, whether that be an action shot or a behind the scenes photo or whatever it might be. Always really cool cards. On to pack number 4. Looks like we've got another canvas. And that's a cool one. For the Seattle Kraken, Mark Giordano canvas card. That's pretty cool. And a home jersey. I don't know if that's from the inaugural Kraken game or what that might be, but that's pretty cool. Nice to get a Kraken hit outside of just the standard base cards. On pack number 5. So let's see. We've got an OPG, we've got 2 canvas, and we've got a Young Gun so far. All right, 5th pack looks like we've got another OPG card, and I like that one as well. It's an OPG veteran update for the Chicago Blackhawks, Seth Jones. Still not entirely sure how I feel about that trade. It was definitely a very steep price for the Blackhawks to pay, and it probably didn't really fit in with their timeline, but obviously getting a high-end defenseman was something they were lacking. So it's nice to have him, but still not super sure how I feel about what they gave up, especially given that draft pick ended up being 6th overall in this coming draft, which would have been very, very nice for them to have. So on to pack number 6. It looks like we have an honor roll card, maybe. Yep, it is a superstar honor roll for the Vancouver Canucks, Vasily Podkolzin. I really liked him in his draft year. I thought he was going to be a pretty good player, so it'll be fun to see kind of what he does with the Canucks moving forward as his career unfolds. And we also have, again, for the Seattle Kraken, a base card of Mark Giordano. So again, cool seeing all of those Kraken cards like we talked about earlier. On to pack number 7. Looks like it might be an OPG card. Let's see here, Christian Fischer base card. I actually went to high school with Christian, so that's pretty cool to see. Have a decent little collection of his stuff, even though I don't necessarily say that I collect his stuff. I do have quite a few of his cards. And then, like I said, we do have an OPG marquee rookie, and this is a better name here, for the Anaheim Ducks, Mason McTavish. So he was the 3rd overall pick last year, played some games with the Ducks at the beginning of the season, so that's a good name to get for sure. On to pack number 8. Feel like there's probably a Young Gun coming pretty soon here. Okay, it looks like we have got some color popping out of the side here, which we know what that means. We have got first a Young Guns for the New Jersey Devils, Mason Geertsen. Not a super good one, but he did at least play some games for the Devils, so an interesting one there nonetheless, kind of a more physical type of player. So we'll see what his future might hold in the NHL with the Devils as a defenseman. And we have a Dazzlers Pink, which these are somewhat difficult to pull, if I remember correctly. I want to say they're like 1 in 144. Yes, the Dazzlers Pink are 1 in 144. So this is a fairly tough pull. Really nice looking card. The Dazzlers are just beautiful looking cards. You know, they were last year in their debut, and they are again this year for sure. This one, like I said, Dazzlers Pink for the Boston Bruins, Taylor Hall. Really nice looking card there. Got a Carey Price base. I know Aaron will like that one. On to pack number 9. We'll see. I hope I'm right, but I feel like I recall now that I see Neighbors and Geertsen that might be one of the Moritz Seider pairings. I'm not sure, but let's hope for the best. So on to pack number 9 here. Got a Nathan MacKinnon base, new Stanley Cup champ, followed by Steven Stamkos, former 2-time Stanley Cup champ. And we have our first Upper Deck portraits. This one of a brand new Stanley Cup champion for the Colorado Avalanche, Alex Newhook. It's pretty cool. Good name to get. Definitely a quality name there for sure. On to pack number 10. Looks like a canvas card. There's a good one. Good name there. Upper Deck canvas for the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid. Looks like he's got a hat on the ice after maybe a hat trick or a win or something. Cool photo there. Obviously about the best name you can get as far as the veteran base canvas cards. So that's cool. Can't complain about any Connor McDavid card. Checklist of McKinnon and Draisaitl. On to pack number 11. Let's see here. Looks like an honor roll card. And it is Superstar Honor Roll for the Anaheim Ducks, Jamie Drysdale. So again, a pretty decent name there. Probably would prefer Zegras, but Drysdale is certainly nothing to scoff at either. He's a pretty promising up-and-coming defenseman for the Ducks. So that's a good one. On to pack number 12, which is the official halfway point of the break. Still looking for 4 young guns, I believe. And we've got our French parallel for the Washington Capitals, Anthony Mantha. Glad I caught it that time. I know during last year's Upper Deck Series 2 break, I did not catch it. So glad that I noticed it this time around. On to pack number 13. Feels like it's been a while since a Young Gun and a while since an OPG card. So we'll see which of those comes first. I'm going to say Young Gun. We'll see though. So pack 13, and yes, it is a Young Gun. And we have got, for the Detroit Red Wings, Moritz Seider. So there it is. I was correct that Neighbors and Geertsen do go with Moritz Seider. So there is pretty much the best Young Gun in the Series 2 crop. So that is obviously very exciting. Can never go wrong pulling the big Young Gun out of a flagship product. So that's very exciting. And this one looks like there's a little bit of edge wear on the top left, but otherwise it looks to be in pretty good shape. So not too bad there. Obviously very exciting to get the big Young Gun without a doubt. So regardless of what else comes out of this box, I would say this box is already a huge success because of that Seider. I know that's, I want to say those are still selling for over $100. So that's obviously a very good one to get for sure. So Paul, thanks again for sending us this box. You picked a good one out of the case. So yeah, well done on that. Obviously very excited for that one. I know Billy will like that one as well, being a big Red Wings fan. So yeah, cannot complain there. That is awesome. Moritz Seider Young Guns. Again, the big name Young Gun can never go wrong. Even if I'm a Blackhawks fan, still appreciate that card. So that is awesome. On to, let's see, what are we on here? Pack 14, I believe. Going to be really hard to top that the rest of the way, but we will do our best. I would love a nice Marc-Andre Fleury OPG update card. That would be really cool. See if we can manage to get one of those. Let's see here, Patrick Kane base card for the Blackhawks. And we've got an Upper Deck canvas for the Ottawa Senators, Josh Norris. On to pack 15. I can't remember who else goes with this grouping. I want to say maybe like Vasily Podkolzin might be in this batch as well. We'll see. I would be very happy to get that one as well. So let's see what we get here. We've got Phil Kessel on the Coyotes. Vincent Trocheck, and we've got a Young Guns for the Boston Bruins, Oscar Steen. So not a super great name there. I know he did play a little bit with the Bruins, but definitely not one of the stronger ones, unfortunately. But again, like I said, when you get Moritz Seider, it doesn't really matter what else you get. So on to pack number 16. Got Calvin DeHaan for the Blackhawks. I like that. We've got our second Upper Deck Portraits for the Florida Panthers, Anton Lundell. Good name there. And Robin Leonard, I liked him with the Blackhawks, now on the Golden Knights, and Kirby Dach of the Blackhawks. So a few good base cards in there. On to pack 17. We're chugging along here. Obviously quite happy with how this has gone so far. If you told me we would have gotten the big Young Gun, I would have been thrilled. So cannot complain at all. Our next one, we've got an O-Pee-Chee Marquee Rookie Retro for the New Jersey Devils, Dawson Mercer. So that's another pretty decent name there. Got an Alex Ovechkin base and a base for the Seattle Kraken, Brandon Tanev. So again, cool seeing those Seattle Kraken base cards. Obviously, we talked about 22-23 Series 1 a little bit. Obviously, one of the bigger names to be keeping an eye out for in that product will be Matty Beniers for the Kraken. That'll definitely be a very much anticipated card for sure. So that'll be exciting to see, and I'm sure we'll do pretty well within the hobby, being their first ever draft pick. Pack 18 here, and it looks like we've got a Young Guns, and it is for the Vancouver Canucks, William Lockwood. So unfortunately, not the Vancouver Canuck that we're looking for, but I think he's still an okay prospect. So see how his career turns out. Brandon Hagel base for the Blackhawks, now with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I really like Hagel, but that was a phenomenal trade for the Blackhawks. So sad to see him go, but can't complain too much with that return for sure. On to pack number 19 here. Looks like we have an O-Pee-Chee blue border. So we'll see who this one is of. It is an O-Pee-Chee Marquee Rookie blue border for the Calgary Flames, Adam Ruzicka. On to pack number 20. Getting down to it here. 5 more packs. Base for the Stanley Cup champ, Colorado Avalanche, Bowen Byram. And there's a good one for me. O-Pee-Chee Marquee Rookie Retro for the Chicago Blackhawks, Mike Hardman. Leon Draisaitl base. All right, so we're on to the final layer of the box. I've been going around top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. So on to the final top left pack, pack number 21. Barkov base, Austin Matthews base. Obviously, he had a phenomenal season this year. And an O-Pee-Chee Marquee Rookie for the Los Angeles Kings, Vladimir Kachev. And more base, including Kevin Fiala, who was just traded to the Los Angeles Kings. Pack number 22. Part of me is a little bit sad that I don't have any of my PC guys in the base checklist to at least be kind of looking out through the base cards, but they were in Series 1, so nothing too big for me in Series 2. Let's see here. I can tell we've got a Dazzlers, so we'll see who we get here. The Dazzlers blue for the Dallas Stars, Miro Heiskanen. Again, those Dazzlers are just beautiful cards. So always fun pulling one of those regardless of who it is because they look phenomenal. On to pack number 23. We are getting down to it. See if we can get anything else big out of here. Let's see, for the Seattle Kraken, Hayden Fleury. And we've got, ooh, that's a good one. We've got an Upper Deck Canvas, Program of Excellence. Again, a new Stanley Cup champion, Alex Newhook. So that's a pretty good one right there. Very nice. And actually, I just noticed this. This is a black canvas, not one of the base ones. This is a Upper Deck Canvas black Program of Excellence for Alex Newhook. So that is even better. Those are Easter eggs, like we said. They're not officially announced, but those are somewhat tough pulls for sure. And Newhook is certainly a decent one to get there. So that's pretty exciting. I know the standard Upper Deck Canvas Program of Excellence cards are 1 in 192. So that's a pretty nice pull there for sure. So getting the Cider and that Newhook, very solid box. So on to the last pack. We'll see if we can muster anything else here. It looks like we might have, looks like there's something a little bit thicker in here. Maybe not. No, never mind. It was just 2 cards stuck together. We've got another Young Gun. First, we've got a Seattle Kraken base card, Chris Driedger. And I'm going to come back to Young Gun, build up some suspense. Aaron Ekblad, Andre Burakovsky. Back to the final Young Gun for the Vegas Golden Knights, Jonas Ronbjerg. It's not a great name on that one. I know he did play a little bit with the Knights this year. I like Vegas, so I would much prefer to get a card like that than just of a quote unquote random team. Yeah, so that's the break, guys. I mean, obviously that was a lot of fun, a lot of variety within the inserts, some good names sprinkled in throughout the inserts, the Heiskanen Dazzlers, Dawson Mercer, OPG Marquee Rookies Retro, the Jamie Drysdale Honor Roll, obviously the Connor McDavid Canvas, can't forget about that one. That's a good one. Newhook Portraits Rookie, the Taylor Hall Dazzlers Pink, which again, that's a nice pull there, 1 in 144. The Mason McTavish Marquee Rookies, the Pod Colson Honor Roll, Seth Jones OPG Update, which I like. The Giordano Canvas, that was cool. The Jake Neighbors Young Gun, that's a good one as well, like I mentioned earlier. The Boris Kachuk Marquee Rookie, I like that one, even though he isn't necessarily the biggest name on the planet. And then, like I said, getting that Alex Newhook Upper Deck Canvas Black Program of Excellence is a really nice card. And then, of course, we can't overlook the big Young Gun for the Detroit Red Wings, Moritz Seider. So obviously, like I said, I would say that went very, very well. I'm definitely happy with what we got. We'll probably give away some of these cards. I mean, obviously, since Upper Deck was kind enough to send this along our way, I'm sure we'll do some sort of contest here pretty soon to get some of these cards into your guys' hands so you can enjoy them. So keep an eye out for that. We'll try to figure something out and allow you guys to enjoy these cards as well. So yeah, I don't think I have too many other takeaways from the break. I mean, like I said, very happy with getting those two bigger pulls with the Newhook Canvas and with the Moritz Seider Young Gun, of course. Those were great. And, like we talked about earlier, the condition of these cards is far superior to what it was with Series 1. So kudos to Upper Deck for making sure that their vendors were, putting out the right, quality for the product. A lot of people don't understand still that these cards are not printed by Upper Deck themselves in-house. This is all outsourced. So yeah, people are mad, saying, why doesn't, Upper Deck do a better job with quality control? Well, to a certain extent, it's not really in their control. If there's an issue that a printer or a packager has, there's only so much Upper Deck can do about that. And people say, oh, the quality control. Well, generally speaking, based on my understanding of how things kind of work, if an issue does not pop up in the quality control cases that Upper Deck breaks prior to release, then they're not going to know about an issue until, it's quote unquote too late and the product is already out there. So, just kind of keep that in mind that there's, Upper Deck really is doing the best that they can. Like I said, with it being outsourced, sometimes there's just not much that they can do. And, people are already upset about how delayed products are and everything. And if stuff was being reprinted or repackaged or whatever it might be, that's adding more and more and more time. So, it's kind of a catch-22 in some regard, and that as far as the quality control can go. But, like I said, Upper Deck did a very good job with Series 2. The quality, of the cards, the condition, they're pretty solid. So definitely a big improvement over Series 1. And I think that's something that everybody can be really happy and excited about. And like you saw in the break and like we talked about earlier, lots of cool cards sprinkled throughout the product. And definitely a good product and one that we would recommend for sure, especially if you guys are into, the new products. So I think that will pretty much wrap it up for this episode. We appreciate you guys listening as always. With that, please be sure to follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sunrise Cardcast and on Twitter at SunriseCC. Please also be sure to subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice to make sure you never miss a future episode. Until next time on Sunrise Cardcast, keep collecting those hockey cards.